Now once we understand the concepts of subtraction, now we can use that for application problems. So this problem says a cruise ship has 1,815 passengers. When in port at Grand Cayman, 1,348 passengers go ashore for the day, while the others remain on the ship. How many passengers remain on the ship? Well, if we started out with 1,815 passengers, and this many went ashore, that means we're subtracting 1,348. Now again, we have to keep things nice and lined up because we have to go column, column, column. And now we can start doing our subtraction. So we can't take 8 away from 5, so we're going to have to borrow. So if we borrow, that becomes a 0, and we are adding 10 ones in the ones place. So now we have 15 minus 8, which would be 7. And then we move to the next column. Now here we can't take 4 away from 0, so we're going to have to borrow again. We're going to have to borrow from the 8 and make that a 7. Now this is the hundreds column. We're borrowing it over into the tens column. So there would be 10 hundreds, or 10 tens rather, in 100. So this becomes 10 minus 4, which would be 6. Now we move to the next column. 7 minus 3, we can do that. That would be 4. And then 1 minus 1 is nothing. We don't have to lead with a 0. So we can just say that that would be 467 passengers remaining on the ship. Now let's do another one. This one says the Patriot Flag Company manufactured 14,609 U.S. flags and sold 5,069. How many flags remain unsold? So if we started out with 14,609 and we sold, or we took away, 5,069, we should, when we do that subtraction, we'll have how many are left, or how many remain unsold. Okay, so we can just begin doing our subtraction, starting at the ones column. 9 minus 9 is 0. Now we can't do 0 minus 6. That's not possible. So we're going to have to borrow. So we borrow 1. Now this is the hundreds column, and we're borrowing it over into the tens column. So it would take 10 tens to make that 100. So really now we're doing 10 minus 6, which would be 4. And then we move to the next column. 5 minus 0 would be 5. And now we can't take 5 from 4, so we have to borrow again. So we're going to borrow 1 here and turn this into thousands. This was the 10,000s column. So whenever we borrow it over into the thousands, that would be 10 of those thousands. So really now we have 14 in the, my pen is not working properly today. So 14 minus 5 would give us 9. So we would have 9,540 flags left. Now I realize that this seems a little bit more complicated than probably what you're used to. You know, normally you would just borrow from here and add the 1. And it's not that that is wrong by any means. You know, because our numbers are base 10, we can do that easily. But I just want you to get into the back of your mind what's really happening there, so that whenever we start working with those fractions, it'll be an easier jump for you.